the second panel is the impact of the pandemic on businesses. This is convened by Suan, Sunandha, Rajabhat University. Can I just check in if Ajahn Siriwan is here with us?
Yes.
Anytime? Yes, fantastic. Great to have you here. Good morning to you and your panel. Yeah, once again, your panel is panel number 2, impact of the pandemic on businesses, and being convened by the Suan, Sunandha, Rajabhat University. So Ajahn Siriwan, may I give the time and floor over to you to introduce the topic and your panelists. Over to you, Ajahn Siriwan.
Okay, there's a further opening the panels. Okay, let me give the stage to Dr. Pittaya for the opening session for our panel.
Okay, hi, good morning. So my name is Dr. Pittaya Klongkratoke. I'm the moderator for this panel. So I just would like to shortly introduce to you all the title of this panel. It is Impact of the Pandemic on Business, because as you know that the COVID-19 pandemic, which was initially ascertained in December 2019, has caused significant disruption globally and with serious economic, political, and even social consequences. So this panel research aims to investigate the impact of the pandemic crisis on business, especially in the aspect of tourism, household income, consumer confidence, and consumer decision-making in online shopping, and even cyber frauds. Here we have 5 topics that we're going to be talking about. The first one will be with Assistant Professor Dr. Siriwan Saksiriruthai with a title named Cyber Frauds and Consumer Decision Making During COVID-19 Pandemic Behavior Analysis. And the second goes to Dr. Yuthapoom Thanakijborisut with a title named Impact of Pandemic on Business Household Income. The third goes to Dr. Ittipoom Promma with a topic named Impact of Pandemic on Business Tourism. And the fourth goes to myself, Dr. Pittaya Klongkratoke, with a title named Impact of Pandemic on Business, Consumer Confidence. And the last is Dr. Rattaphol Promma with a title named Micro Influencer and Online Marketing, Small Enterprises Way to Survive in New Normal. So I guess Dr. Siriwan is ready, right? Okay, so please welcome her to the first topic of this panel. She is from the Faculty of Management Science, Sunandha, Rajabhat University. So I'll just give the time to you then.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pittaya. Okay, let me give a screen sharing first. Okay, it seems it goes well. Well, because of the limited time, so let's go to my topic. Well, in this pandemic situation and because of the lockdowns, have you ever shopped online? What I'm going to talk to is the topic that probably happened to everyone that going to shop online. It is about the cheating online or scams. It is so let's go to my topic: the cyber frauds and consumer behavior and consumer decision making during COVID-19. This is a behavioral analysis. What I'm going to study, this is because of the growth of the e-commerce that is actually because of the advancement in technology of the internet communication and accelerated by the pandemic. So the growth of the e-commerce is very fast. And so I think it is very interesting to analyze individuals' decision-making mechanism in online purchase before making decision to purchase. in this time, I'm applying behavioral economics analysis and transaction cost analysis. This is like in economics term. And then I would like to find how fraudsters or the scammers are motivated to lure victimized customers and how it influences individuals' decision-making to purchase. Let me go lovely for this. So the growth of the e-commerce is very fast, and it is expected to be growing throughout the years in the next few years. But sadly, what's happening is the cases of the cyber flaws, the identity theft, so this the stealing information, personal information online for further frauds, for further scamming. For the identity theft is going very fast. It grows very fast together with the fraud complaints. So we can see that in the year 2020 during the lockdowns, we can see that it's growing for not only the e-commerce growth. And what I'm going to I would like to link the behavioral economics and online marketing strategy as well as the consumer decision making, because individuals actually in reality we are not rational, so we cannot analyze systematically and logically. It violates the assumption for economists. Instead, there are other factors like emotion, like culture, psychological factors, and so on. Those factors influence the consumer decision making. So we need to. So this leads to the ineffective decision making and leading to the online frauds. So the behavioral economics concept can be, from the analysis, we find that it is, the concepts are regularly used in online marketing strategies, and many times the fraudsters can take advantage of this to lure the customers, the victimized customer, and take the money. Let me give you one example of the theory used for, the behavioral economics concept that used for luring customer, and actually for marketers too. They often use this one. This is the prospect theory and loss aversion. According to prospect theory and loss aversion, individuals tend to prefer avoiding loss to obtaining equivalent gains. It means that, for example, if you lost 1,000 baht note, you will feel very, very sad. And you know that the sadness could not be compensated. Only 1,000 baht gain from 1,000 baht note gain. So the loss of 1,000 baht must be compensated by more than 1,000 baht receiving in order to make the feelings like comparable. So this is in psychological and behavioral economics term. Then cyber fraudsters often use this term too to lure customers. They often post like too good to be true sales offers or other offers like incredibly cheap price for product, and then lure the victims, and then people for the victim and scams. Let me go through the conceptual framework lovely, and then I'm going to one by one later. First, this is the process of consumer decision making that I just combined with the transaction cost analysis. And we can see that external stimuli like marketing strategies and offers and economics, behavioral economics analysis could be used to motivate the customer's need for the product. Then consumer behavior, they will respond, they get their own internal stimuli, and they feel uncertain about because of the imperfect knowledge about the product or the seller and so on. And this is the environmental uncertainty is one of the conditions under the transaction cost analysis. it comes from like imperfect information. I go further, and then together with the motivated want and need for the goods and transaction cost, because in consumer decision making, once customers make decision, they need to incur this transaction cost too. Under the condition of the bounded rationality, it means that the individual's rationality is limited. It's not we cannot make a like very completely analyzed decision, and then we have to face like the opportunism condition that people probably cheat us, and we probably cheat others too. That it can be explained by the flawed diamonds before making decision. And then I go to one by one for this conceptual framework. The first one is this from the external stimuli, could be the outside influences or external influences like marketing mix or the messages conveyed to the consumers. And for consumers themselves, they have their own internal stimuli from motivation to attitude here, and they respond to the messages or the stimuli and to make purchase or to make other decision. Then actually, because of the imperfect information, like they don't know everything about the product and don't know everything that may affect the decision making, and mean that relevant information for decision making, they may feel uncertain about making decision. This is because of the inability to know the fact of the products and services, what they're making decision of. And then this is one of the conditions in environmental uncertainties. This for consumer buyers, because of the condition of imperfect knowledge, they don't know everything. So it causes the uncertainties and could be like this uncertainty could be part of the decision that make the consumers inside, then they can make ineffective decision, leading to cyber frauds. And these are about the transaction cost analysis here. Firstly, let me go to the bounded rationality. This is I think this condition is it is in the reality, you know, that because in reality, when we make decision, we don't know every information needed. So people are not rational. That's why we have problem of the frauds. For the transaction costs, there are three types of transaction costs: for the search and information costs, and bargaining and decision costs. For consumers, because of the internet communication, so it is very easier and consumer getting much lower cost for accessing the information about the product, the services they need. So the transaction cost of the search and bargaining cost, they become lower. But not only for the consumers, but also for scammers or fraudsters too. They got a much lower cost for approaching consumer or target victims too. So it becomes okay, but they are a problem. So that's why there is an increasing trend of the cyber frauds. Then for the policing and enforcement cost, because for the online sales for e-commerce, it is like the remote sales contract. So people like the parties for making sales contract are living in remotely, let's say like this. So it bears the cost for the consumer, because consumers burden the higher risk of scams and cyber frauds and face a complicated process and low possibility to recover the lost money in case they got the problem of cyber frauds. And the other condition that consumer has to face, even with or without the advancement in internet communication, especially during pandemic or not, is about the optimism. Optimism, it comes from the imperfect flow of information or asymmetric information. We don't know that if other party will cheat or not, or even consumer, they are motivated to cheat in sometimes. But for the fraudster, let's say sometimes they just act like a seller, fake sellers. They can act like opportunistic to lure to commit the frauds in a various way. So we can explain their behavior actually for the fraudster behavior and by using the fraud diamonds. For the fraud diamonds, it says that in order for a person to commit fraud, there must be the following conditions. The first is incentive, motivations, and pressures. Actually, for the incentives, it needs not to be like the financial struggling like this. Actually, it can be financial or non-financial. So then fraudster must be motivated to commit fraud first, and then they must have opportunity. This is the situation or environment to support that give them opportunity to commit frauds. And rationalization, they have their own excuse, like, oh, I'm committing fraud, but I'm not wrong because of they will give their own reason. This is like moral excuses, thinking that they are not wrong. And last but not least, this is the last condition that required for committing fraud is the capability or ability to commit frauds. They must be capable to commit frauds. So this comes to the conclusion or discussion. Actually, from the internet communication advancement in these days, and so we can communicate very effectively, even in the situation of the lockdowns. So the transaction costs becomes lower, and for the marketers, for firms and businesses, they can access the target customer in a very low cost, and so for the fraudster too, they can approach the victims in a much lower cost and in a shorter time too. For consumer, what I'm going to according to my finding, the frauds occurs partly because of the limited rationality. Maybe they make decision because of the emotion, because of the something that aroused inside. They want the product. They feel that that advertisement is very appealing or something. So for consumer, I think they can minimize the risk of the cyber frauds by performing rational decision making. They need to make decision by finding all the information available and analyze systematically. And don't limit the time, because fraudsters often give a limited time with a very good offer, but oh, please answer this, please accept this within something minutes or hours, just like this. And so we need time, we need to analyze so we can minimize the fraud. And for government, I think that for cyber fraud should be taken into the consideration as a critical issue, because it hinders the development of the e-commerce, and collaboration between government and private sectors for preventing cyber frauds and scams is very necessary. In the long run, education is the way to raise the awareness of cyber frauds and scams, and will reduce the cyber frauds and scams in the long run. Okay, and this comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention and time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Siriwan, for your presentation. It is really interesting to hear about behavioral economics analysis and to be confirmed again that the cyber frauds is a critical issue, and also it really needs concentration from others, and from us, and also from the government as well, right? Okay, the next topic is called impact of pandemic on business, household income. The speaker of this title is Dr. Yuthapoom Thanakijborisut. I'm not quite sure. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, yes, so I'll just give this time to.
Okay, I will share my presentation. Okay. Everyone see my presentation? Okay. Good morning, all participants. Today, I would like to present the impact of COVID-19 pandemics on household income in Thailand. I am Mr. Yuthapoom Thanakijborisut from Business Economics, Faculty of Management Science, Sunandha Rajabhat University. In the recent year, Thailand has faced the COVID-19 pandemic since the first quarter of the 2020. The number of COVID-19 cases increased continuously. So, Thai government announced the state of emergency and partial lockdown around the end of March 2020. For containing space the virus, the public health measure to control the pandemic. For example, nightly curfew across Bangkok, some provinces, and then restriction in the mass movements of people, especially long public holidays such as Songkran Festival and Labor Days in the last years. And restriction on international commercial flights. Every traveler must quarantine 14 days before enter to the city. And temporarily closed shopping mall, commenting mall, and many restaurants, which people must take away only. Therefore, economic activity has impact on both household and business sector. Many workers were suspended and laid off from business owners, so their income and household income has affected immediately. No, this has impact on the real sector very much. For example, Thailand GDP decreased around 15.8% in the second quarter 2020, and also value of the export reduced more than 27%. Many people concerned about the economic uncertainty and spending consumption cautiously. Let's see the most impact of reducing in consumption on this graph. In the sector recreation and entertainment and the transport services, similarly reduced around 53%. And growth rate is reduced highest. For example, in the sector recreation and entertainment, sport activities stopped for all, such as Thai boxing, football, and local sport must stop every activity. And the government lottery was suspended for 3 times. And another in the transport service sector, the passenger was limited to travel or domestic and international flight in the land, water, and air, respectively. And for about the sector restaurant and the hotels, This is allowed 47% because the temporary cost not eating inside the shop, and also no tourists stay at the hotel. This sector is the highest reducing in consumption during the second quarter of the 2020. Also, the purchasing vehicle also reduced more than the 40%, and the purchasing costing reduced around the 21%. Next, let's see the another information, the impact of pandemic in the location during lockdown in the first wave of pandemic. The first graph, I will show the trend of the visitor change to decline around 40% in the retail shop. In the retail shop, including the restaurant, coffee shop, shopping mall, fitness center, beauty salon, massage and spa. These retail shops are closed temporarily. And the second graph, I will show the trend of the changing visitor in transit, more reduced about 60% in the transit, including public transport, bus terminal, train station, and airport. For the third and the fourth graph, I will show the trend of labor work from home during lockdown. The third graph, the number of workplace decreased around 35%. On the other hand, change to work at home increased more than 20%. This is the first wave of the pandemic. I also show the situation, the second wave is an orange line. This is the second wave of Thailand about the COVID pandemic. And also in the third wave, I show in a black line. To comparing, the second wave may be less reduced in location than the first wave. However, the third wave, the Delta variant will continue to spread until today. Maybe the impact more than the first wave. For estimation, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the household income, I use the log linear regression model to the estimate. Show on the slides, log household income is the dependent variable, depend on the COVID-19, especially in the first wave on pandemics, and the control variable. The household income is the average household income per capita. The means of the average household income around 115,000 baht per quarterly, or I can calculate to about 13,000 baht per monthly. For the COVID variable, divided by 1 if the pandemic in the second quarter 2020 as the dummy variable. For about the vector of the control variable, I use the household consumption. Household consumption, the HH consumed is the average household consumption per capita. Is around 60,000 baht per quarterly. Or you can calculate about 20,000 per monthly. For the CPI variable is a consumer price index. I refer to the cost of living for people around Thailand. For about the LCI variable is the labor cost index. I refer to the wage of labor. And the last one, export variable, is the value of export. I refer to the relative with the domestic productions. If high export will lead to the high labor income. So I use this model for the estimation the impact of the household income. Let me show the empirical result. For the result, I found that the coefficient of the COVID variable decreased for all equations. For the full model, in the last equation, during the COVID-19 pandemic, in the first wave, was reduced on the average household income about 13% significantly. And for another variable, let's see the CPI. If the CPI is increased 1%, the household income reduced more than 2%. Moreover, I try to cut off the another equation. If I cut off the export variable for estimation to comparing with the full model, the result show that during pandemic, the household income more reduced around 20%. So what happened? If Thailand could not or less in exports, surely it will be more impact with the real business sector and the household income. Say that the export is the very important for the business and the Thai economy for sure. For the conclusion, in the first wave, impact of the pandemic was reduced on the average household income about 13%. That is consistent with in the Euro countries. For example, in Ireland, the household income reduced around 20%. And in Italy, household income reduced around 40%. For about in Africa, Kenya and Uganda, household income declined around 19%. So indicate that impact of household income in Thailand is not quite high when compared with the previous study. This infers that Thailand successfully controlled the first wave of the COVID-19 due to strong public health and the strong collaboration with the private sector and all people in Thailand. For my limitation is for my study, I study and analyze only the first wave on pandemic, not include the second wave and the third wave. And I use data in the macro level for study. However, at this moment, it's difficult to collect data in the micro level, such as the survey, because it's difficult to the face-to-face interview and the health measures, such as the social distancing and the curfew and many things. You difficult to see people to collect the data. Moreover, interesting for the future research, we'll study the impact in the third wave because COVID pandemic spread hugely and seriously more than the first wave. Yes, thank you for attention.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yuthapoom, for your presentation. And as you can see from his presentation and study that his study really shows, obviously, the impact of the pandemic on household income, that it is very clear in his analysis. Okay, so let's turn to our next speaker, Dr. Ittipoom Promma, also from the Faculty of Management Science, Sunandha Rajabhat University. He's going to be presenting in the title of Impact of Pandemic on Business on Tourism. So I guess you're ready. Okay.
My name is Dr. Ittipoom Promma. I'm from Department of Marketing of Sunandha Rajabhat University. As you can see, my topic name is the study of the positive impact on COVID-19, especially on domestic tourism. Okay. Okay, my presentation divided into 5 parts. The first one is for the importance of the study, and the objective is the next, and evidence and finding and conclusion. For the first part, the importance of the study. From more than 2 years that we have been facing an epidemic for that in our lifetime had never encountered anything like this before. So the epidemic of the coronavirus that happened since 2019, sorry, it affects everyone in every occupation, especially in tourist industry, where the travel is a key factor in spread of the virus. So there are many negative consequences happen from COVID-19 that we all know, whether it's a drop in tourist number, or a large number of hotels shutting down, or employee being laid off. So as we can see that there are many negative impact on this industry. But for this article, this study aim to explain, do we have any positive thing that happened during the bad time we face? So here comes to the research that I study. So the objective of the study is to study the positive effect that occurred during COVID-19 outbreak toward, especially for the tourism industry in Thailand. So the evidence of Thailand tourism situation, I want to point out so about the data that happened before the spread of coronavirus. In 2016, Thailand received a high of 1.76 trillion baht from foreign tourists. In 2019, there are approximately around 10.55 to 10.75 million Thai that traveling aboard, which is the highest number in 6 years, that growing 5.4% to 7.4% from year 2018. The expenditure of Thai tourists aboard is around 385,000 to 390 million baht, and that increased around 4.5% to 6.1% from the previous year. In 2019, approximately 2/3 of the revenue come from overseas market, means the tourists from abroad. In 2020, only 6.4 million foreign tourists travel to Thailand, making the total tourism income decrease around 7 to 80% from year 2019. So as you see, there's a big drop from the previous year. On the other hand, Thai tourists themselves are unable to travel abroad, which is, I can see this is a good opportunity. Actually, this is the bad thing that we cannot go abroad, but there's be a lot of positive things that happen in the same time for the Thailand domestic tourism. to help to cover for the tourism in Thailand. So here are the findings that I collect from many sources from the study and also from my direct experience. The factor contributing to the rising popularity of domestic tourism. The first factor is, sorry. The first factor is the inability to travel abroad for tourists. This factor is very important due to the spread of COVID-19. The tourist is at risk of contracting and spreading the virus, especially international travel. Problem from disease control in different countries make traveling abroad become more difficult than ever. Therefore, the only way to do is to turn to travel within Thailand or within country. Even though the atmosphere is not in happy time for traveling, but it's undeniable that the domestic travel is the only way to get relaxed from the stress, from the hard work and the density in the urban area. Okay, that's the first point. The second, the river content creator competition. This is a factor that drives travelers to travel, or that can influenced by many factors, either from the travel needs or the stimulus from various media channels, as well as imitation behavior from thought influencer can also result in increased demand for tourism. In the day before the coronavirus outbreak, this influencer create a lot of interesting travel content from all over the world, causing a huge trend of international travel. The popularity of traveling abroad has been increasing, which directly affects domestic tourism. But the obstacle that arises is that the same attraction cannot make much of an interest, resulting in the search for new attraction from influencer to create interest from follower. As a result, within the past few years, many new tourist attraction were born, nature attraction or cultural arts, or also for beautiful temple. And a large number of new restaurants and cafes occur as well. All of which have been positively affected by domestic tourism trend. From the first factor that have resulted in an increase in the number of tourists in the country, but the tourist attraction in the country are not as diverse or already known by most people. So this puts the content creator in a race to find interesting places that are not yet known. This has resulted in many new attractions, such as for Thai people, you may know this location like this. For example, Grand Canyon in Rajabhat, or Sapan Put, or pop-up bridge at Saksiriruthai Dam there, and also for many other attractions that happened during the same time during the COVID, the spread of coronavirus. And the third factor is the domestic tourism promotion policy to stimulate the economy. The prolonged epidemic situation of coronavirus has severely affected the economy. Many businesses had been shut down, affecting the country economic growth, especially for Thailand, whose income is heavily dependent on the tourists from foreign tourists. Therefore, the government has issued various policies to promote domestic tourism. The purpose is to stimulate the purchase of more money into the system. This can be seen from many economic stimuli projects, such as half person project, คนละครึ่ง or we travel together, or เราเที่ยวด้วยกัน something like this, can help to motivate the demand from the tourists. The fourth factor that is more popular for personal car travel. In the study from booking.com stated that touring by car is becoming more and more popular among Thai tourists. From the survey, there's a number of Thai people, around 75% prefer self-driving because they can, the reason might be from that they can stop or they can park anywhere, and it's also cheaper than other type of transportation. In addition, during COVID-19 epidemic, it is even more beneficial to travel by private car, as it's safer than other forms of travel. Therefore, this form of travel has more become increasingly popular in recent times. Okay, the fifth factor is ecotourism model is more popular. According to a survey of more than 20,000 booking.com users, around 80% of people surveyed prefer to travel in less visited provinces. Therefore, tourism will be opening up new experiences such as community ecotourism that is becoming a hot trend among teenagers and the general public, because they want to experience new things and want more outdoor activities. It is called adventure travel. They also like to go on a community outreach trip to benefit and participate in the local rehabilitation. This form of tourism has a very positive effect on domestic tourism, especially for new tourist destinations that are not yet well known. This is an opportunity to spread income and create a career for people in the community as well. The last factor that motivating the traveling in the country is the trend of touring on weekday is increasing. Data from the same research on state about the important information that Thai people have around 68% increase in weekday travel, which is likely due to the fact that at the beginning of the year, maybe many people have been working from home and have begun to adapt their working style to outside, work from home, something like that. People are starting to book accommodation during the normal working day to change the atmosphere to feel more relaxed and inspiring. The trend is called workation. That we can do work anywhere we like to. The aforementioned factors are considered positive factors that benefit domestic tourism in various dimensions. Although the current epidemics of COVID-19 is still severe, but at least this factor will help support domestic tourism to continue to move forward. So in the next section, I gather the positive impact and the opinion of myself about the article that expect that will be the good sign for the domestic tourism. Okay, here are some examples of terror action that happened during the spread of coronavirus 19. Okay, here are some positive impact that occurred during the pandemic of coronavirus. Okay, the first one, money does not flow out of the country. That is the thing that we all know, because many travel previously, many tourists travel abroad. So there's a lot of money flow out of the country. So instead, when we cannot go out, this money are still inside the country. So, and the second, the emergence of new attraction from traveler and liver. This is the effect from the factor that I just mentioned in the previous part in the second topics. The third, the popularity of traveling by car has a positive effect on tourist attraction that are not far from the big city. So since there are more popular, there's popular for traveling by car among the tourists, it helps them to go anywhere that maybe far from home, or go to the rural area that cannot easily to go. So this factor can help people go anywhere. So especially around 200 to 300 kilometers near the big city like Bangkok, or 3 to 4 hours driving car. This area will be benefit from this trend. As a result, there's many new tourist attraction or hotel, restaurant happen or occur during this year from this trend. So the fourth factor, the factor that the tourists can work from anywhere without having to go to the office. Around the hotel can adapt their strategy to long-term services. The demand to avoid crowd in holiday destination and work from home style had led many travel to choose to travel during the workday. Therefore, it allowed many tourists to choose to travel out of the city to nature, while they still be able to work in their duty. So as a result, the duration of stay of the tourist is longer. It has a positive effect on the operator, like hotel, homestay, who ready in terms of their building facility or their services. The fifth benefit is the number of the tourist personnel that will be the driving force of the economy in the area is increasing. It's undeniable that the long-running epidemics of coronavirus has a huge impact on virtually every type of business. Many business have to reduce the number of employees, and many business have to close. As a result, there is a large increase of unemployment. So this might be the benefit to this group of people might be the personnel who can be one of participant or one of the worker in the area, in the rural area that help the rural economics to grow up. And for the conclusion, you might see that among the bad thing that happened, there might be the good thing or the positive impact that are happening at the same time. So my conclusion is advice to some business that can adapt. That is, the adaptation is the key to survive in this situation. The hotel can change their strategy or model of business from short-term to long-term, or the tourists have changed their form of tourism to eco-tourism that can have the positive impact to many things that come after in the consequence. And the next conclusion is it's the good opportunity for the area that has naturally fertile. And the third is it's a good opportunity for the tourists to know more about the tourism culture and can be proud of being Thai from traveling inside the country. Okay, but none of that I mentioned above will not happen if the epidemic situation is still uncontrollable. But the suggestion is the traveling for safety is still is the first priority. And also for the government policy, that is very important to control for the spread of the COVID-19. Okay, thanks for your attention. That is all my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ittipoom. And it's really interesting to learn the positive impact, because all of us usually see only the negative ones. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, can you just maybe press stop share? Yeah.
Just a second.
Okay. So the next topic, it will be myself. Okay, I'll just quickly. Okay, it's all right. I'll just use them here. Okay. Okay. As the confirmed cases of COVID-19 was primarily detected in December 2019, loss in human life and an effect on political, social, and economic activities soon later occurred all over the world. The consequences of the pandemic have approached the society and the economy itself in overall. This led to a dramatic shift in the business sector, especially in consumer behavior. So this leads to the study of the impact of pandemic on business, consumer confidence. And again, good morning to you all. My name is Pittaya Klongkratoke. I am currently a lecturer in business economics in the Faculty of Management Science, Sunandha, Rajabhat University. There are some studies that reveal that the consumer concern correlated with COVID-19 have been high, and this affects behavior and confidence of consumer in overall. And Consumer Confidence Index is suggested to present as a consumer indicator affected by the pandemic. Nowadays, digital tools were used to obtain some significant data. Some simplify that the Google trained data as an unbiased sample of the Google search data, which denotes level of interest in a specific issue from around the world. Google Trends is an online search tool that allows anyone to see how often specific keywords, subjects, and phrases have been queried over a specific period. This can be very useful for marketers for strategy planning, as the Google Trend says, explore what the world is searching. The objective of this study is to explore the impact of the pandemic on consumer confidence in Thailand by the observation in Consumer Confidence Index, and to examine its substantial pandemic-related factors based on Google Trend search data known as Google Search Volume Index. The dataset used in this study is secondary time series data. It is monthly statistics covering the time period of January 2020 to July 2021 with 19 observations. The dataset is quite limited due to the fact that the initial detection of COVID-19 cases started in December 2019. Variables observed consist of dependent variable, which is Consumer Confidence Index, or CCI, and independent variables comprising of Google Search Volume Index on Coronavirus in Thai language, GSVI-CO, Google Search Volume Index on COVID-19 vaccine in Thai language, or called as GSVI_VAC, and Google Search Volume Index on lockdown in Thailand, presented as GSVI_LOCK. This paper explores how the pandemic have had an impact on the consumer confidence in Thailand, and the analysis of this study is essentially on multiple linear regression model with a fundamental of ordinary least square, estimating relationship between Consumer Confidence Index and a set of pandemic-related Google Search Volume Indexes. This paper explores so from this, just a minute. Okay, so from this you can see here that just a minute, there is okay. So from these results, it shows the dynamic of Thailand Consumer Confidence Index, that the figure displays that from January 2017 to July 2021, covering the time before and during the pandemic, showing how the pandemic have had an impact on the Consumer Confidence Index. After the detected cases of COVID-19 started in 2019, the Consumer Confidence Index gradually fell and reached the lowest point in years at 33.3. This is because of the concern in consumers on the stability of Thai economy and also the uncertainty of the global economy. Due to a recovery in COVID-19 situation in Thailand, the consumer confidence was risen, though it did not reach the peak as before. The situation of Thai consumer confidence was worsened again in January 2021 when the confirmed cases returned. Later, the government brought up some policy supporting the economy recovery project. For example, We Win, We Love Each Other, and We Travel Together. And the COVID-19 vaccine issue was started to be considered. Therefore, the index was increased slightly. As the pandemic tends to be worse in March 2021, according to the consumer has obviously fallen ever since and finally reached 36.7 in July 2021. The COVID-19 situation evidently has an impact on consumers as they tend to feel uncertainty towards the economy situation consequently. And here, by exploring the descriptive statistics for all variables, the result on Consumer Confidence Index shows that the mean of the data is at 42.4, the maximum is at 47.5, and the minimum is at 33.3. Okay. This table demonstrates results from the analysis of multiple linear regression model with the use of ordinary least square approach, investigating relationship between a dependent variable, Thailand Consumer Confidence Index, and 3 pandemic-related independent variables. This comes to the conclusion that reveals a relationship between Thailand Consumer Confidence Index and the pandemic-related factor, which are Google Search Volume Indexes based on Google Trend dataset. First, Google Search Volume Index on coronavirus 19 in Thai language has a negative impact on Thailand Consumer Confidence Index at a statistical significance level of 0.01. The finding denotes that when this search data increases, Consumer Confidence Index decreases. Secondly, Google Search Volume Index on COVID-19 vaccine in Thai language has a positive impact on Thailand Consumer Confidence Index, also at a statistical significance level of 0.01. This implies that when this search data rises, Consumer Confidence Index ascends. And last, Google Search Volume Index on lockdown in Thailand has a positive impact on Thailand Consumer Confidence Index. The outcome suggests that when the search data on this topic grows, Consumer Confidence Index also increases. However, this study is not yet complete. Complete because there are some limitations on the study. The further study may be interested in taking into account other indexes or business indicators that are related to consumer behavior as a dependent variable instead. And also with the limitation on data set consisting of only 19 observations covering the time period of January 2020 to July 2021, due to the fact that the COVID-19 cases were primarily detected in December 2019. The further study with more observation will be able to construct a more accurate multiple regression models or other kind of models. And last, This study deliberates on 3 pandemic-related variables. The further study may contemplate other Google search volume indexes or other pandemic-related variables from Google Trend or from other alternative digital sources. So from my findings, this is an evidence showing an impact of digital information of COVID-19 on Thailand consumer confidence. This is just to confirm that digital communication is important. Okay. Yes. So, thank you for listening. And okay. So next, we will go to the last presentation of our panel, which is from Dr. Rattaphol Promma on the topic of micro-influencer and online marketing, small enterprises' way to survive in new normal.
Thank you, Dr. Pittaya. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Rattaphol Phrommas, and I'm a lecturer of the Faculty of Mass Communication, Chiang Mai University. Today, I'm going to talk about how the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted to small business and which strategy will make them survive. In my pilot study, micro-influencer and online marketing, small enterprise way to survey in new normal. The effects of the pandemic of COVID-19, there has been a change to the form of people ways of living, transforming a new normal era. Therefore, people cannot continue living outside their accommodations, include the measure announced by the government. The matter have affected greatly on society and world economics. Chiang Mai, the second city to the capital city in Thailand, has also been affected from a pandemic. Small and medium enterprises that are important to province economic developments could not continue running their business. It has caused the enterprise to alter their form of business performance into online marketing and apply that to their own business to process into the situations. Many enterprises have changed from selling products into the past. They focus on selling on the product at the store. Now it changed into selling via online system and the policy of product public relations via internet. There is one platform has been used widely. This online social media such as Facebook. The consumer in new era tends to believe advice popular in to advise give from other people, even they do not know those people in person. They tend to believe that influencers has knowledge or some expertise in particular matter, even true in its mean. For the advertising to sell products or service for the brands, therefore, becomes marketing tools that a brand must seek for and use them as intermediary to reach to the consumer. Instead of this study focus on the exact matters, the result of the study can be used to be a guideline for applying online marketing for enterprise. It will be considered one of the solutions to allow them to continue their business through the crisis. And objective of this study, to study guidelines for online marketing by micro-influencer, the case study of enterprise in Chiang Mai. We have literature review on 3 points. Yeah, 1 is concept of online social media, 2 concept of influencer, and 3 concept of consumer behavior response towards communication via online social medias. and research method. My key informant score 15 owners on small enterprise in Chiang, who has been running proceeding the business not less than 3 years and continuing. There are enterprises that have been using online marketing communication strategy by using influencer more than 1 year. Research tool, data, in-depth interview with key informants, and the to beauty enterprise and goods enterprise. They're choosing micro influencer. Sorry, my internet unstable. Yeah. They're choosing micro influencer from online marketing communication is because of main factor having too limited budget for marketing. They also has expertise or local in specific area who can easily build trust with local people. Besides, enterprise has been relying on followers on influencer is knowledge their products or service, and Peter build some interest and making purchase the products. Use females influencer as they can communicate with target customer in every gender. They also has very certificate mutant feature of having great personality, being able to actually communicate through physical and verbal, and they have their own unique characteristic that people easily recognize. The form that the influencer use marketing communication can be divided as follows. One, the form of picture with caption. By posting their own picture with products or service with a description below. They would also attach hashtag of the product or the name of the enterprise. Their strategy is to present by creating real-life situation, photo take about their daily life, their activity during free time to deliver happy and fun. It is a simulation of the followers and encourage them to should buy such goods and products. That method use every kind of product or service. Two, the form of video or video clip. With message addressed in the strategy of presenting of the product by giving their reviews to the product or their recommendation of place. And the last, the form of living broadcasting is strategy that relay or personal capacity of the influencer to make people interested in a follow up, which lead to make this decision of buying such goods or products. About the channels of the presenting, the products normally would be the broadcast on official Facebook fan page of the enterprise or influencer personal Facebook account with hashtag of product or service of the enterprise. The frequency of the post is according to the agreement with the enterprise. Each day, the influencer must post at least 2 or 3 agreements with the enterprise. Each day, the influencer must, they will count the time of posting products or service of influencer that have been here, including the time that the product appear in the picture of view, also location and hashtag. Moreover, there will set a requirement of indicator from the number of like, comment, share, and link to the product or service from the account of the influencer. The payment that enterprise pay for influencer are divided into 3 forms. 1, cash payment to the benefit by receiving products or service from both enterprise, and 3, the mixed payment. It has been confirmed for every enterprise about the trend of choosing an influencer for the future. Online marketing is the most suitable way, and when the situation caused by the pandemic get better, they tend to use more influencers. And conclusion, online marketing by using influencer via online social media for small enterprise is a suitable channel for marketing communication for current era, because Facebook is a popular online social media, has the highest number of users included in Thailand. The user can connect from computer, other internet connection, connecting device, smartphone, which is easy for everyone to access. For decision and suggestions, the influencer will province hashtag for such product service using reliable language for customer to make it seems like recommendation for a friend or the serious presentation for sales. They are considered of reliable people since they are from some hometown as the product and service added. And moreover, influencers have their followers as a fundamental source of knowledge, like and share which reach to target group widely and rapidly, including choosing the buy products or service and knowledge is exciting. The result of the study can be useful for enterprise to apply into their online marketing. It can be one of solutions for business suggest and let them to the future continue through the crisis. The result of this study is a fundamental study. If there in the in-depth study with benefits in academic is using for the improving learning method, and it might be placed in one of the lesson or be selective course for study who study communication arts, marketing, who can understand and use the knowledge after the graduations. The labor market start to increasingly pay some attention to people in the field since COVID-19 pandemics. Besides, the study result can be a guideline for these who are interested to work in the field and want to understand and improve themselves. For the suggestions of this research in the next step, since the influencer should communicate via platform of online social media, which are various, Facebook itself start to have the limitation in the presenting online marketing communication in some issue. Therefore, compare study is many platforms can generally use the result of the study. Okay, it's a time to bring the present to a close. Thank you for your time. I to appreciate having had this opportunity to share my work with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rattaphol. And your results from the study is really interesting, and it is also a confirmation that the social media marketing is very important nowadays, and it can also help. It can be the solution for the business problem during the COVID-19 crisis as well. Right. Okay. So thank you very much. Sorry for the time. It's just a lot. There were a lot of interesting results that we would like to share with you all. So now it is a time of questions and answer. Are there any questions according to the panel? Yes. Kun Nukira. Right. Sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Yes, please. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, please. I'm just not quite sure if I correct your name correctly or not.
Yeah, my name's Nukila.
Nukila.
Yeah,
okay.
Nukila. Yeah. Thank you very much for the moderator, Pittaya, and all the colleagues here, the panelists. You presented great presentations. I'm would like to convey my thanks regarding your presentation and your finding on your research. Oh, I need to start my video, right? Where is, okay, sorry. Yeah, I couldn't, okay.
Oh, here you are.
All right, now.
Now I can see you.
I can see you. All right, I would like to, I'm really interested on the presentation from Ittipoom,
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
Ittipoom.
yes.
About the positive impact of pandemic on tourism in Thailand. Maybe it's quite similar here in Indonesia. We have a positive impact and negative impacts on tourism. For example, the activities is the same. Yeah, we have like a ecotourism, high emphasis on ecotourism, and then more on domestic tourists, right? Then like the type of tourism relied on, you know, like staycations, and then works the package of works from hotel. You know, you can work from the hotel instead of at the home or at the office, and then until we have like the what you call CHSE, a certificate from the Ministry of Tourism. So for the hotels or for restaurants, so every visitor feel this. Back to Thailand, I will like being realistic that we never know, right, when the pandemic is over. So my question will be how to make because you're mentioning about the promotion policy of tourism in your presentation, but I would like to ask you how to make the conducive tourism, which is more sustainable in Thailand, so that is not going to drop again for the businesses in so it's not going to drop again for the businesses in or the business persons in Thailand. So I would like to have your comment regarding this. Thank you, Ittipoom.
Actually, we don't know what's gonna happen next, but my suggestion in my study state about if we can control the situation that not go higher than this, about the number of infected people, like this time, the government let us to do activities, to go anywhere, to work our life as normal under the condition, under the policy that we have to follow. I think this will be the good sign. This will be the good sign that we close to the normal life, but we don't know. It's for my opinion, I cannot tell you what's gonna be the next, but if the type of the COVID-19 still in alpha, beta, something like that, that we already know. But if we have other kinds of the COVID-19, we don't know that a vaccine can control this much or no. So I think this kind of live and learn, something like that, we have to adapt in the situation that happen for next. I don't know that is the answer that you want to hear or not, but that's all my answer.
Thank you, Ittipoom.
Okay. Thank you very much for. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
If there's no question coming in at the moment, maybe let me just throw a. This is Robin from Asia Center. Maybe let me just throw a couple comments which you can take, receive as a question, perhaps. We have maybe just 5 minutes or so left, so that's why I'm phrasing them in the form of comments. One, Dr. Siriwan, you talked about cyber frauds, and it would be good to know, what specific products, for example, were people consuming as a result of fraud. I would imagine fake medicines and so on, for example. Dr. Yuthapoom, you talked about, very interestingly, the decline of the GDP, 15.8% and so on. And what I found very interesting is your household income mean, which was, I think, at 115,000. And to me, 115,000 in a society where there is high inequalities suggests a better living standard than one might conclude from looking at inequality in Thailand. So perhaps you could address, because the household income at 115, that mean or average, maybe it hides the problems of inequality. Dr. Ittipoom, what I took from you is that, in this continued exploration of Thailand in this panel too, is creative destruction. And so I was going to ask you, maybe along the lines of Nukila, that to predict what will be the nature of of tourism, for example. Is it a deep structural change, for example, that is happening? I know you said it's hard to predict, but just maybe your initial thoughts. Dr. Let me see, Pittaya, you also mentioned, I was going to ask you along the same line, what is the meaning for Thailand of the decreased consumer confidence? And Dr. Rattaphol, you talked about the digital environment is important for survival. And the question which joins the speaker, Kun Kittikun in panel 1, is about the access to, people don't have computers and access to the internet and so on. So are people able to adapt? Is there infrastructure readiness in Thailand, for example? So that's what I had to put out there. Perhaps I could throw for a quick comment to Ajahn Siriwan.
For the commodities and products that often traded for or are taking to be like in the fraud schemes, it includes, I think recently there's just a lot of things, because we know that people, we because of the lockdowns, especially in Thailand, we changed our lifestyle to because of the offline shops are closed. So we just shift to buy or to purchase online, and a lot of the things that was included in the cyber fraud schemes, but it is about like the medical mask or the things or the fake medicine. It is right, because it is very hard to find and very difficult to find in the market, and so fraudsters can take advantage of this. And moreover, there is a more thing about the fake investment, like Ponzi schemes. so people were lure victims because and have to lose a lot of money because of this. So internet, this is the effect of internet communication during the pandemic, and we need to put an eye on for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Pittaya, for chairing this panel. We will, close this session, and I'll make this very short remark and remind everyone about the themes of the conference. It's COVID-19 in Asia, communication, nationalism, and technology. We certainly seen an emphasis on technology, but the key question is not only access, but also affordability. How do we go online and how do we do business? We spoke of tourism, looking at domestic tourism and trying to keep the money flow in. Is that some form of nationalism? After all, many look out for money coming in from outside, and I think those are critical questions to think about. And last but not least, I think in terms of, how do we deal with cyber fraud? How do we boost consumer confidence? Do we really depend on government and government agency, or do we, as individuals with volition, also, undertake issues of digital and media literacy so that we can contribute to negating confidence, negating cyber fraud and improving confidence.